how do you think, how bad is it going to be on the property market and on the actual spending market? So if you have a business right now and you're going, oh man, here we go. I just got, give or take, a mortgage in Australia is about $1 million, right? So that 0.25% increase, as an example, if it's passed on 0.25, if they don't increase it anymore, is about $2,500 a year that someone's got to come, right? Someone's got to find that, as an example, right? So as a business owner, you're going, well, this is probably not going to be that great for business. Mark, what are your thoughts on how is it going to affect property and business, in your opinion?
Yeah. So like, in my opinion, property will still go up, but here's the thing no one wants to hear, right? After inflation, you might be actually going backwards, right? So I'm not predicting a property market crash. I still think property is going to go up, but what will happen is it's a slow bleed that most people aren't even aware of, that when they're looking at their property, it's going up in nominal terms, but versus inflation, versus debasements and more amount of money that's going into the system, versus gold, versus shares, versus even Bitcoin over a 5-year period, you're actually probably going to be bleeding to those things, even though property will be going up in nominal terms. In relation to interest rates going up, I think it affects that bottom part of the K. It hurts that bottom part of the K who are either renting, because it's going to affect rents, and it hurts the bottom part of the K who are first home buyers and have to make their monthly repayments. It actually helps the top part of the K, because the top part of the K, the ones that are flush with cash and own monetary assets, well, they've got their money in mutual funds and short-term debt, which is going to be giving them more income per year.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the
James?
Mate, pretty much what Mark's saying there. As far as the spend side, though, I mean, I don't know. Agree on the housing sector as well. I mean, it's not going to 0.25. It's not going to put a dent in greatly. I can't see it anyway. But yeah, on the spend side, I'm not across that, but I can't see the spending slowing down much at all. Especially when people still got to live. You still got to eat. You still got to have your staples. So even the people that are constricted and don't have the out and the Gold Coast every night for a meal, I mean, what are they going to do? Starve? You know, it's they've got to. It's got to come from somewhere. So,
Ref?
Yeah, I think the problem with this is that, like, whenever there's any interest rate hikes, like, it's priced in and there's no sunset clause to reduce the cost that the bottom part of the K is feeling. So it's like, if no one's going to, on their own volition say, you know what, actually interest rates have dropped, so now in response, I'm going to drop it. They might be waiting for like macro, like property trends. If the general rent of an area is dropping, then I'll drop it. But I haven't seen that since 2019, like, just consistently gone up and up and up in every single area in Australia. Like, I remember being able to have like a 3-bedroom apartment in Sydney, like in Parramatta, for like $350 a week. Like, that's impossible to find, like right in the middle. Like, it's just, you cannot get that anymore. And it's not because, interest rate is going up and down. It's just that it's been priced in, and the top part of the K is not going to reduce that, because obviously they're investing, they're getting more money out of it. But for every like lay person, if your income is not going up proportional to the interest rate and the downstream effects that it has on your day-to-day living, like the price of eggs, like Tim Tams, like I mentioned, or even rent, like, you're going to feel it. And it's like you're now between a rock and a hard place. It's just closer and closer. Like, you're just like, you need to find another way to create income so you can get enough escape velocity to get to the top part of the K. And that's what we talk about on this pod, is like being able to like not stay in this paradigm, because it's not getting easier.
No, and
that's good for what you appreciate. We've got an event coming up about specifically about that. About even if professional income is not good enough anymore, you've got to do something else. That's great for people who've got the mental horsepower to go and do that. But for the average person out there, they're not potentially business people. They're probably the employee mindset. What do they do? I mean, do they just sit there and let the frog in the pot and boil? What's the ultimate outcome when the shit hits the fan? That's
yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully the answer is listen to this podcast, and we continue to bring value added ways of getting out of it. I mean, I just relaunched my personal podcast. I just filmed the first one today, and that was the story that I told right at the start. Like, It doesn't matter if you're the 9 to 5 trying to grind out of a 9 to 5. It doesn't matter if you're the surgeon, Eric's mate, the surgeon, who's worried about his hand going, and if it does, he's fucked because he's or his kids are at private schools and he's already
It's a
got all these
livelihood.
mortgage repayments that aren't going to stop. Or you're the business owner who, like me, who my industry is on a bit of a macro downturn, or the other business owner that's doing 70 to 100 hours a week, killing it at the moment, but not sure when the music's going to stop. You have to start looking at ways to invest your capital so that it can compound over time. I know Eric for a fact, and I know myself, if I look at the majority of my net wealth, it's come from long-term investments, most notably property, that has compounded over time. Do I think property in Australia is that number one for the next 5-10 years? Probably not, like it was last 10 years, but it's about finding those long-term compounders and putting your money away smartly.
It's interesting to say. I'm listening to a book listen to audio book at the moment. Tony Robbins had his big summit on just recently, and I got down the rabbit hole with the big fella who's always good for a 3-day G up. But I listened to his book called The Holy Grail, and he's talking about just the compounding of capital, S&P versus investing in private equity, but not investing in private equity, investing in the private equity holding company. And phenomenal listen, and the outsized returns pretty much double the S&P. So tip there is 220 to go. Yeah. And global the general partner stakes in these private equity funds, and it's a fantastic listen. So anyone's out there looking how to compound capital, Holy Grail, Tony Robbins.
All right, let's move on. I want to talk about. I just want to move on from this topic, guys. I want to go into the CGT, but my 2 cents is interest rates go up. In my opinion, rents go up, right? So it's not good for the bottom K when interest rates go up, because the landowners go, you know what, that's fine.
For sure. It's never good for the bottom part. Did we lose Eric?
It's just
I
frozen.
think you may have.
James, did you cut him off or something at the server?
No, I haven't. I can hear him, but he's still going in behind us.
He's
But,
still going. We can't see him.
we might need to edit this bit out. And
Yeah, I don't know if this stays in or gets edited out, but one thing that Adam talks about all the time, especially with relation to Bitcoin, is investors need to lower their time preference, all right? And not necessarily be looking to get out of the bottom K in the next 6 months or the next 12 months, but to make tactical decisions that can compound
About
for you over
business, or
time.
you're in business, or thinking about going into business. Oh,
Eric,
the juice screens
just
just go.
got you back.
Hold on, the juice screens just go black, or was it just mine?
No, we kept going. We just got you back now.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, something happened to mine. So you have to edit that, Jerome. What time are we at? I'll let Perry know. 21:10. What type of business so what type of businesses that you guys are looking to get in? If you do have a business, or you're looking to get into a business, whether it's a need business or a want business, right? Because everyone needs food, as an example, but not everyone wants Wagyu, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna buy the Wagyu, as an example, if you're that high-end butcher, but that might have to go to Woolies and buy the lower-end beef, as an example. So that's a big difference, because when things are well and the luxury stuff pumps, but it's the first thing that actually comes back. Now I want to talk about CGT. Now there's an article that came out today, and I know they've been back and forth, the governments have been back and forth about this CGT discount. Now I want to break this down for the people that don't know, because I know there's a lot of people in here that listen, that have no assets and don't know how it actually works. So in Australia, if you own an asset for more than 12 months, you get a 50% capital gains tax exemption. So and this isn't your primary place of residence we're talking about here, okay, guys? We're talking about if you have a business or a property or anything like this that you hold for longer than 12 months. If you bought it for $1 million and it's now $2 million and that thing's went up by $1 million, you get a 50% discount, which means you only pay tax on the 500,000. Now, it's where there's smoke, there's fire, and I know it's just an article and they're talking about it, but when I start looking at these tax reforms, right, it worries me, right? It worries me, one, because I've got assets.
You own a shitload of
Right.
property.
Right? Yeah, but it also worries me because of the knock-on effects, the second, and third order effects, which I want to discuss with you guys on here. But just to give you guys an example, they're talking about if they actually got rid of it, it would add over $20 billion back into government for tax, right? To pay things, like homelessness as an example, and social housing, and whatever they want to spend.
Increase the handouts to the lower K.
Correct, right? And this is the issue, right? Like, instead of us enabling the lower K, like what we're trying to do, and we're enabling the top of, the above K as well, on the top of the K, right? They're not we're trying to help them. They're enabling them by just keeping them in the same position with more handouts, right? And this is the thing, when you travel to countries like Dubai and whatnot, there is no handouts, right? You either work. If you're not working there, they will literally deport you. There's no issues over there. They just send you home. And some people will like that. Some people won't like that. But I start thinking about these things and going, okay, we are in a crisis, a housing crisis right now, right? So imagine if they say, you know what? No, this is what's happening. The CGT is gone. What is the incentive for the top K that can afford to invest in business, to invest in assets, to invest in property, as an example, within Australia? There's not much incentive. So what's going to happen, right, when the investors remove themselves from the markets, because they're going, there's no incentive in doing that, because I'm just going to be paying full tax on that. That means there's less houses. What does that mean to the supply? Less. What does that mean to the demand? If they still keep the population growth going and the demand happening, what's going to happen to rents, which is usually majority of the lower K, right? Rents are going to go through the roof, as an example. What's the incentive for me or Mark or James or Raf or anybody else? I mean, the incentive is not there for Raf anyways. He's already gone. He's already in Dubai, right?
That was the incentive.
What's the incentive for people? Yeah. What's the incentive for people to invest in the country? There's going to be more and more people that are going to want to invest outside of the country. Mark and I were just on a phone call with a very, very successful woman yesterday going, you know what, guys? She lives in Bali. I don't want to invest in Bali. I definitely don't want to invest in Australia, but I do want to invest in Dubai for multiple reasons. And she's actually been there, right?